I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
R&R Racewear, your source to all custom racewear apparel needs, and home to iRacing apparel. Check it out today at rnrracewear.com.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics, LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Checkered flag. Contact and Brian Rose wins it. A photo finish at the line. Oh, we got a wreck. Will Hewitt's through the trial for the final time, and oh, they're wrecking. Big trouble. Vincent Short sneaks through, and I think Short...
Among the world's most modern motorsports facilities, Kansas Speedway opened for business in 2001, some 15 miles west of Kansas City, Kansas, under the ownership of International Speedway Corporation. Originally consisting of a 1.5-mile tri-oval with uniform banking, the facility underwent a major revamp in 2012 that resulted in progressive banking of the oval, 17 to 20 degrees, along with the addition of a 6-turn road course incorporating a twisty infield section, all but a few hundred feet of the oval. The facility has permanent seating for 72,000 spectators, along with a hotel and casino featuring more than 100,000 square feet of gaming space. Kansas Speedway has hosted a variety of motorsports events over the years, including all 3 NASCAR Premier Series, ARCA, IndyCar, Grand American Sports Cars, which also utilize the road course. Lighting was also completed in 2011. Probably won't see him on tonight, but you will see the IROC Challenge Series, race number 6, and it's next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Kansas Speedway, the IROC Challenge Series, coming into town here tonight for their 6th race of the season. 120 laps around this 1.5-mile oval. 70 degrees the air temperature, 25% humidity, rather dry out here in Kansas City. Partly cloudy skies, almost no breeze. And the track temperature at 98 degrees Fahrenheit. Qualifying and practice already in the books. Just wrapping up our warm-up session here. It's a 10-minute session with just about 2 minutes to go. Let's go down trackside and see where everyone is stacking out. Right now, Aaron Smith, the fastest on the speedway, 30.43. Gets into the fence there out of 4, pushing the limits every time around. It's not the first time we've seen him do this here tonight. The thing with Aaron Smith, I mean, he's been very successful in the season. Obviously, he's starting the season off with 4 straight wins. Kevin McCann last week snapping that win streak with his win at Iowa. Second quick. It's Mike Cook, Doug Wysocki's 3rd fast in the warm-up. Then you've got the 5 of Trevor Quick, Mike McDonald, Jaden Hopp. Going to see a lot of these drivers pushing the envelope out of turn number 4, seeing how close they can exit that corner against that safer barrier without hitting it. Of course, that will be the key. Talk about the strategy details tonight. 2 sets of tires over the wall, as always, and a 65% fuel capacity for all drivers in the series tonight. Warm-up just about over. We'll get right into our starting grid at its completion. And then not long after, it'll be 1 pace lap and then a green flag and then 120 laps to settle it here, race number 6 at Kansas. Well, that wraps it up. Let's look at our warm-up time results. Of course, Aaron Smith was quickest. Mike Cook was 2nd fast, Doug Wysocki, Trevor Quick, Mike McDonald, the top 5, and so on and so on. But let's not delay a moment longer. Let's take a look at our starting grid for tonight's running here at Kansas on the pole position with a lap time 30.340, the number 70 machine. He's got 4 wins already. It's Aaron Smith. Outside front row, it's number 83 of Brandon Mefford. Missed it by that much. Row number 2, it's going to be Kevin McCann in the number 33, flanked to his outside by the 3, brother Brian McCann. Starting in row number 3, it's the 5th place machine, number 2 driver, Neil Quick. Starting in P6, it's the 00 of Mike Cook. Garrett Johnston's going to start 7th. John Osborne, top 3 finisher last week, starting 8th tonight. Mike McDonald rolls from 9th. Chris Mefford in the number 46 will roll from the 10th position. Starting 11th, Jaden Hopp. Starting 12th, Rick Kelly. Starting in the 13th position, it's Adam Johnson. Matt Kopp will roll P14. 15th goes to Jason Nilgis. Trevor Quick starts 16th. 17th starter is Josh Braley. Larry Bruner will roll off from the 18th starting position. Jeff No in the 55. He'll start 19th. Chris Wally, league admin, the number 51, starts 20th. Stan Carnathan will roll from the 21st position. And then shotgun on the field in the number 34, it's Doug Wysocki. It's your starting grid here from Kansas. Field already working the back straightaway here, getting ready to go under the green flag here in just about half a lap. Pace car hits pit lane. We wait for Barney to wave the green. Green flag in the air. We are racing from Kansas Speedway. Kind of a jumble up in the mid-pack and further back. Drivers getting separated right off the bat. Lap 1 in the books, Aaron Smith leads it over the 83 of Brandon Mefford. Kevin McCann, last week's winner at Iowa, up into the 3rd position. 4th running is the 3 of Brian McCann, relatively unchanged in the top 4 from where everyone qualified. We're working to turn 3 for the 2nd time. Aaron Smith with the race lead, but Brandon Mefford right there as we ride on board. Mefford takes a look to the bottom. Mefford, strong move on lap number 3 down into turns 1 and 2. Takes over the top spot from Aaron Smith. Mefford not wanting to wait or be patient at all. Just wants to get to the point, get that lap led. See if he's got something for Aaron Smith. Mefford starting to pull away just a bit, 0.4 of a second, the advantage over Aaron Smith. Little shake up back in the top 5. Garrett Johnston going around Mike Cook in the 00 machine. Cook on the bottom. Johnston way up the racetrack. Don't know if he got a piece of the wall there out of 4. He was awfully close if he didn't. More chaos here in the back of the pack. Don't even know where to start. The 4 of Jaden Hopp. In behind the 16 of Michael McDonald. Rick Kelly, the 31, going to the high side. Trevor Quick, and Jason Nilgis. Back to the front of the field, Mefford still with the race lead, but 1.5 only the advantage over the 70 of Aaron Smith. We'll see if Aaron puts the pressure back on and tries to take that lead back away from Brandon Mefford.
Meanwhile, Kevin McCann stalking the 70 down the back straightaway. He's less than a car length off the back bumper. Down into turn number 3. Kevin likely just being patient, waiting for an opportunity, but guy who's not being patient right now looks to be the 32 of Garrett Johnston. He's to the outside of Brian McCann. He wants to be nowhere but towards the front. He's continuing to push that direction, up 3 spots since the drop of the green flag. Just barely getting out of turn number 2 there without making contact with that white and green safer barrier. Big run for the 32. He's gone around Brian McCann. Now he's alongside brother Kevin McCann. Aaron Smith drops up the racetrack, tries to block the run, but dives back to the apron of the racetrack here in the Tri-Oval. Garrett Johnston looking like he's on fresh tires compared to the rest of these guys, but that's just not the case. We're only 8 laps into this race. He has found something at the top of the racetrack, making the high side work. High, wide, and handsome, already up into the 2nd spot. Now applying pressure to Brandon Mefford. Once again, top of the racetrack. He's alongside out of turn 4. At the stripe, too close to call. Johnston may have had it. Definitely gets a nose alongside and out in front now. He's clear of Mefford. If he can continue this out of turn number 2, he'll have the lead for sure. He does. Down the backstretch, move the 32 of Garrett Johnston to the point. Biggest mover thus far, up 6 positions in the first 9 laps. Johnston already stretching out his advantage to 0.6 of a second over Brandon Mefford. Aaron Smith now in 3rd. Kevin McCann, Brian McCann rounding out the top 5. Remember, Doug Wysocki started last. He's already up 10 positions in P12, knocking on the door of Jason Nilges in the number 88 machine. Wysocki there in the white and green number 34. Head down into turn number 1. Very interesting. Nile just already putting the clutch in, trying to save some fuel. See if he does it again. We'll ride inside. Listen close. You can see it on the tack too. Drops all the way down to just about 2,000 RPM. Trying to save every drop of gasoline he can. Johnston still with the race lead, but some changes in behind him. Kevin McCann has jumped up into the 2nd position. Aaron Smith maintains P3. Brian McCann now 4th, and Brandon Mefford has gone from P2 back into 5th. Now again, with some of these drivers already in fuel conservation mode, be curious to see who is doing just that. It sounded a little awful quiet into turns 1 and 2. Let's ride on with Garrett Johnston and see what he's doing down into turn number 3. Garrett's on the power. Kevin McCann, not so much. He's saving fuel as well, coasting quite a ways, all the way to the apex of turns 1 and 2. And he's still catching Garrett with a big run out of turn number 2. Awful awful quiet there in 3 and 4. Half those drivers are out of the throttle. All you can hear is Johnston's machine as he's full power down through the corner. Battle for the lead. Kevin McCann goes to the bottom, all while saving fuel. Johnston to the outside. He's not saving fuel, but somehow McCann still able to put down a pretty good lap time. Takes the top spot. Now both drivers off throttle through 3 and 4. Aaron Smith's going to follow through and take the second spot, likely also away from Johnston. At the stripe, Kevin McCann, your new leader. Johnston in the fence into turn 1 just a little bit. Slight impact, enough to break the momentum. Johnston goes from the lead back to 4th. Now beginning to save fuel. Remember, Doug Wysocki, he's up now 12 positions. Mike McDonald, Matt Kopp battling now for the 14th position. McDonald on the bottom in the number 16 machine, the 22. Matt Kopp way up the racetrack. McDonald's going to take the position away. Chris Wally back in the 16th spot. New colors on that machine this week. Up 4 positions, running in the 16th spot. John Osborne back in the 17th position. I don't know if he was just overly aggressive in his fuel conservation or if he had a problem, but he's down 8 positions, now 9, depending on where Wally ends up. Could work out for him in the long run if it's just that was the case. Maybe he's just saving too much fuel. Can work out in the end as long as you stay on the lead lap, but certainly not where he started this race, not where he wants to be. Osborne, the 44 on the low lane. Just a couple of feet off the white line. Chris Wally, the number 51 on the high side. Bit of a crossover. Osborne was going to go back down, but he gets to the outside of the 00 of Mike Cook. Takes that spot away, and here comes the 35. That's Larry Bruner. He seems to be shot out of a cannon. That's the thing here. A lot of different strategies at play. Oh, and he gets into the fence out of 2. Keeps it straight, or does he? He does. Good save. Larry Bruner had his hands full out of turn 2. But as we were talking just a moment ago about fuel conservation and different strategies throughout the course of the race, some may be full throttle, some may be half throttle, some may be completely off throttle and in the clutch. Got to pay attention out there, because if you're running up on a guy and you're full throttle and he's in the clutch, you don't want to run him over. Larry Bruner still showing some pace, even though he did put the right side of that race car in the fence. Chris Mefford and Jason Algis battling for position. Algis with a big run, gets to the back bumper. No contact. Has to lift just a bit on exit. Mefford in the number 46 machine. Algis the 88. This is the battle for the 8th position. Kevin McCann still your race leader by a narrow margin over Aaron Smith. Just over a 10th. Let's continue to watch this battle here for the 8th spot. Now just looking low. Gets the power down. It sticks for now. Maybe some contact. There was paper thin real estate between those two bumpers. No contact made, but boy, oh boy, was it close. Niall just backs off now. It's 2.5, maybe 3 car lengths. Effort up the racetrack a little bit here. He's going to have more of a run out of 2, but man, Niall just is shot out of a cannon here. He's got some pace out there. Both these drivers relatively evenly matched. Their fastest laps of the race thus far within 1/100th of a second of each other. Niall just now alongside, gets a nose out in front. We'll see who he can battle down into turn number 1 here for this position. Mefford up the racetrack. He's going to have a big run out of turn 2. This is a great way to defend unless Niall just can clear. It doesn't look like he can. And there he goes. Mefford yields the position. Now Chris Mefford back in the 9th spot. Again, don't panic if you're a Chris Mefford fan. Maybe he's just saving more aggressively than the 88. This could all work itself out before the race is over. The caution is out, though. This likely for, well, I was going to say the stage break, but it is kind of early, and we do see a car slow and stopped on the bottom. It looks like it's Jaden Hopp. Indeed, it was. It's the 4 machine. So it puts us on our first yellow of the day. Let's get a quick look at it. It's out of turn number 2. Was there contact? Oh, there's a little bit of net code and contact down the backstretch. That was with, it looks like, the 31 machine. That would have been Rick Kelly. Checking again here from the blimp. And Hopp's lucky he kept it on all 4s, or at least 2. Don't need the body guy working on the roof. So under our first yellow of the race. Kind of think these guys are all going to come down pit lane here for service. The question remains, though, is it going to be fuel only? I'm going to say probably. 33 laps with only 2 sets over the wall. 120 lap race. I can't justify throwing a set of tires on right now. But again, I'm up here in the booth. I'm not behind the wheel. We'll see what these guys do. Kevin McCann, number 33, comes to the attention to his crew in his pit box. Aaron Smith the same, Brandon Mefford as well. And we're going to keep the jacks behind the wall. It's going to be fuel only for, I think, just about everybody out here. Kevin McCann down and away. Does he get out first? It's going to be close. Tough to say. I think it might have been Aaron Smith winning the race off of pit road, the 70. 4 wins this season already, and he's back at the point with some quick pit work. We're going to step aside, get a quick break out of the way. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens, UMP Modified and Silver Crown driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws late model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
R&R Racewear, your source to all custom racewear apparel needs, and home to iRacing apparel. Check it out today at rnrracewear.com.
Checkered flag. Contact and Brian Rose wins it. A photo finish at the line. Oh, we got a wreck. Will Hewitt's through the trial for the final time, and oh, they're wrecking. Big trouble. Vincent Short sneaks through, and I think Short...
Back at Kansas Speedway, we had some interesting situations develop here during the caution. Everybody made their pit stops. You saw that happen live. But then everybody came down pit road again, a lot of drivers at least, topping off the tanks, a little bit more fuel, and then they went another lap under the yellow flag, and some more drivers came down pit lane to top off for fuel. So fuel certainly on the minds of all of these drivers as the pace car is going to peel off the racetrack. We're almost single file as we get ready for the restart. Green flag in the air. We're back racing from Kansas, and we got a car in the wall already. Who is that? Josh Braley? Braley, I don't know if he just lost the rear end, spun the tires, but he gets it up into the fence. Hard impact. We stay under the green flag. Back out front, Chris Mefford and Jason Nilgis. The battle continues, but now it's for the lead. Mefford to the top side, trying to build a run. Nilgis on the bottom at the stripe. It's going to be Mefford. Chris, that is. Mefford running the Larson line, and he's going to pay for it. Gets into the fence. Scrapes the right side, doesn't hurt him too much, but he's going to lose the lead. Nilgis to the point. Now the 55 of Jeff No comes into the frame. Now let's check on Aaron Smith, now running back in the 5th position. Remember, he was first off pit road on that first set of pit stops, but again, as we said during the break, a lot of the drivers came down pit road to top off just to get a little bit more fuel on board. Then they waved off the restart. We went another lap, and then even more drivers came down pit road for extra fuel. That's why it looked like we had a single file restart at the time. It's not the case. It's just the way that it worked out. Jeff No going to the point, or at least trying to. He's to the outside of the 88 of Nilgis. They drag race down the back straightaway. Jeff No to the lead. Now the battle for the second spot, Bruner and Nilgis. We saw Bruner earlier. This is the same battle basically that we watched early on, but it was for about the 12th, 13th, 14th positions. These guys took advantage of some pit stops that happened after the fact. They stay out on the racetrack. Yes, they don't have as much fuel as those guys, but they got the track position. And right now, that's the battle we're watching for the race lead. The 55 of Jeff No at the point. Bruner taking a peek to the bottom in 3. Bruner still trying to attack and take that top spot from Jeff. No, nobody saving fuel in that top two. Maybe in the top three, we'll see. Bruner changing lanes, going to the high side out of turn number 4 for the race lead. Bruner with a nose out in front, half a tenth, still side by side, down into turn number 1. The battle continues. Bruner's got him clear, dives to the bottom of the racetrack. New leader, lap 39. It's the 35 of Larry Bruner. Bruner starting to check out, 0.6 of a second back to the 55 of Jeff No. Now that battle heating up for the second spot. Chris Mefford going around the outside, or at least trying to. Going to build a run way up the racetrack. We saw Bruner make this really successful earlier on in the race. Mefford does it, clears the 55, goes to the bottom of the racetrack, takes the second spot. Ooh, Mefford way up the track. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but man, he is drifting that race car way up top. Jason Nile just slips back to the 4th position, just ahead of Aaron Smith. Doug Wysocki, number 34 machine, he's there as well, but appears to not be on the lead lap. Some minor glitches here with the overlay. We're going to reload it here in just a moment. You won't miss any action. Driver's already in fuel save mode once again. You hear them cutting that throttle and getting into the clutch. Just coasting through those corners. Bruner extends his lead over Chris Mefford to about a full second here. Mefford with a big run down the main straightaway here, down into turn 1. It was down to 9/10. Aaron Smith now battling with the 88 machine. Jason Nilgis gets to the bottom, but Nilgis tries to battle back. Little wiggle for the 88 though. Aaron Smith now up into P4. Checking on Brian McCann back in the 7th position. He's down 3 spots, but again, as we get into the meat of this race, lap 45 of 120, Brian McCann might be thinking about trying to take care of his stuff. Tires, fuel, the whole 9 yards. Don't chew up the car, don't beat it up. He's in the top 10, not a bad place to be. Meanwhile, brother Kevin McCann back in 14th. Kevin also made an extra stop during that last caution period as well, so he may be a little bit further to the good in the fuel category. Won't be too concerned about him being back just to the end of the top 15. Battle shaping up here behind Kevin McCann between the 00 of Mike Cook and Chris Wally up top. Wally, the number 51, the yellow and blue car on the high side. It seems that Cook able to make that low lane work better for him out of turn 4. He's got the 15th spot. Wally now up to 16th. Again, started 20th here today. Mike McDonald and Trevor Quick in a battle for position. This would be for 12th. While this battle continues, let's check on our race leader. It's Larry Bruner still, but that deficit back to Mefford has shrunk considerably. Just a few laps ago, it was a full second. Now it's just over 2/10, just under 3. Well, now it's about 3. We're not going to give it real-time deficits here, but close enough. Quarter second the advantage for Bruner out of 4. Oh, and Mefford gets into the fence out of turn 4. That's going to certainly help Bruner a bit. Stay out in front long enough to lead some more laps. So Bruner still with the lead. It extends it now to a 3/4 second advantage. Mefford maintains the second spot. He's going to have to reel Bruner back in if he's going to challenge. No back in the third spot, but for how long? Well, not very. He's got Aaron Smith to his inside. Looked like Mefford had some trouble in the middle of 1 and 2 again. Aaron Smith now back into the P3. 1.2 seconds back from the race lead. You see Mefford up the racetrack again. Again, it's by design, but man, it's a high wire rack that you're trying to put on here, trying to stay in the top lane. Yes, it's fast, but you missed your mark by an inch and you're going to be in the wall. Smith looking low again. So right on board with Chris Mefford. Mefford still attacking here. Aaron Smith still attacking here, trying to take the spot from Chris Mefford. Oh, close quarters. Garrett Johnston's coming into the frame as well. Now we got a 3-car battle for the third spot. Second spot, that is. Mefford up the racetrack trying to hang on. 3 wide out of turn number 2. Johnston up the middle. They get away with it. That was close. A little side draft from Aaron Smith as they get down into turn number 3. Great battle for position. This is second, third, and fourth. 3 wide out of turn number 4. Mefford's the big loser, goes second to fourth. Johnston goes fourth to second. Aaron Smith maintaining the third spot. Right on board with Larry Bruner here and see if he's in fuel safe mode as well. Well, there's a lot of different ways to save fuel. You can lift and coast. You can push the clutch in and let it idle. But listening to Larry Bruner here, it doesn't sound like he's doing any of that. He's in full send mode as we approach the halfway point of this race here from Kansas Speedway, the IROC Challenge Series. Bruner maintaining the top spot, at least for the time being. Garrett Johnston back just under 4/10 of a second. Still closing in, though. Likely to see a battle for the top spot here momentarily. Thought we were going to see it with Chris Mefford, but then he got the fence. He was right there. Top 6 pretty well spread out except for, well, 5th and 6th. 4th and 5th. I can count. Jeff No in the number 55. He's on the inside. Up top's the 46 of Chris Mefford. No's going to take the 4th position away from Chris. Now Mefford in 5th position. Brian McCann up a couple more spots now. He's in the 6th position. Chris Mefford's going to take pit lane under the green flag here. A little bit of right front damage. Remember, we did say that he did get into the wall. Speaking of Chris Mefford, September 23rd. Keep in mind, we got the Care for Kids 200. I'm sorry I don't have the graphic up here, but we'll get that posted up for the next race for sure. But it's a charity race Mefford puts on every year. Certainly a great cause. It's a 100-lap fixed setup race using NASCAR-style Craftsman Truck Series vehicles. This will be at Michigan Speedway. We were going to broadcast it here at HBR TV, but things a little hectic out here. We had to, unfortunately, bow out of that. PTM Racing TV going to take the broadcast for this one. All proceeds will benefit 2 amazing children's charities in the Great Lakes region, Ellie's Place and Zoe's Place Child Advocacy Center. If you guys are interested to run it, it's a $15 minimum registration fee for drivers who wish to participate in the event. It'll be a 8 p.m. open practice, 8:45 single car qualifying, and then 9 p.m. in the east. It's race time, 100 laps, 200 miles. It's got a trophy for the race winner. They got prize giveaways, cash bonus awards, all the good stuff. Get a hold of these IROC guys if you're interested. Even me, if you want to find me here in HBR TV, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook or the Discord, find us somehow, make a comment, whatever you got to do. We'll figure it out. We'll get you in touch with those in the know. With all that said, though, Bruner in the pits. A lot of drivers down pit lane. Bruner, a little shy of his pit box, has to pull forward a bit. That's going to cost him a lot of time. Garrett Johnston on a turn 4. He's going to hit pit lane as well. Just past halfway here from Kansas Speedway. We're going to let pit stop cycle through. Then we'll get to a side-by-side break. Don't worry, we're going to wait and see how this thing pans out. Fuel only once again. So 2 stops thus far for most of the drivers. Some surprisingly actually taking tires in this pit stop. Again, we are halfway. It's certainly an option. Now Brian McCann takes over the point. He still needs to pit. Aaron Smith, Kevin McCann, Brandon Mefford, John Osborne, they're all down pit road. Remember, Brian was saving fuel, saving tires like a madman early on. We'll see if this strategy is going to pay off. It's a bold one. Don't count out that 3 of Brian McCann. He's always a contender. Now he's cutting it out even on the front stretch here in the dog leg. Coasting it all the way to the apex of turns 1 and 2. And I'll tell you, if anybody wants a caution right now, it's Brian McCann. Brian McCann in that number 3 machine, he's on a lap of his own. Everybody else out there, 1 lap down or more. Well, not anymore. Now Chris Mefford, he's on a lead lap. Other drivers on a lead lap, and it continues as Brian McCann hits pit lane. Finally peeling off the racetrack. I expect tires here. There it is, right side's in the air. Going to be a longer stop, but with this late pit stop for Brian McCann, he's going to have a tire advantage. He's also going to have the most fuel on board, so it's kind of a win-win for the driver, the number 3. So Chris Mefford has cycled to the point after the pit stops, and we got a battle for the lead already. Jeff No, that is. I don't know where I got the Chris from, but he's to the outside, the number 55. This battle, we've been watching this all race long, whether it's been for the lead or mid-pack. It hasn't seemed to go away. Chris Mefford now with the race lead, just about a tenth, a little less, over the 55 of No. This battle continues out of turn number 2. Still some damage on the right front of Chris Mefford. You got to wonder if that's really slowing him down quite a bit. Might actually be better in traffic. No's alongside. Little wiggle from Mefford. He has to check up a bit. It's going to give No the race lead, but Mefford battling back on the bottom. No, still not clear. Now he's clear. New leader, lap 67. It's a 55 of Jeff No. With that, we're going to step aside, get an HBR TV side-by-side break out of the way. Stay with us. You won't miss a minute of the action. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
You saw it while we were in HBR TV side by side. Aaron Smith making the move around the 46 of Chris Mefford for the race lead here at lap 74 down the backstretch. No contest, 4.5 tenths the advantage into turns 3 and 4. Aaron Smith starting to check out already. Even the battle between Mefford and No has kind of cooled off just a bit. 4 car lengths roughly between the two drivers. This is now for the second spot if No can close the gap. 75 laps in of 120. One caution to speak of this afternoon. Brandon Mefford back in the 12th position, just ahead of Jaden Hopp. Speaking of that first caution, Jaden Hopp involved in that first caution. Hopp still maintaining the 13th position on the lead lap. Oh, real loose on a 2 though. Almost gets the fence, might have scraped the right rear just a little bit, did Jaden Hopp. Opens the door for Neil Quick. Quick goes around. Neil, however, in the 20th position. Neil 1 lap down, would love to get a caution. His first car 1 lap down would be the lucky dog if we were to get the yellow. Don't really know what happened with Neil Quick. Maybe a pit road speeding issue, but nonetheless, not having a typical night for the 2. Garrett Johnston, I don't think he saw Quick to his outside. It was awful close. Almost pinched the 2 in the safer barrier. Made a quick move to get back to the inside. Tucks in behind Neil Quick. Meanwhile, Aaron Smith has jumped out to a 2.7 second lead over the 46 of Chris Mefford. This battle's starting to shape up here. Here's 3 drivers, all for position. Chris Mefford, Jeff No, Brian McCann. That's 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Remember, McCann likely with the freshest tires underneath him for the most part, at least within the top 10. Goes to the inside. He's going to take P3. To the inside. Mefford's going to try and battle back up top. McCann's got him clear. Dives it back to the bottom. Doesn't take full advantage. Goes low. Mefford's going to have a bit of a run here out of 2, but I think McCann can slide, job it up the racetrack here. He does. A little wiggle out of Mefford there. A little loose on exit. So Brian McCann now up into the 2nd spot. It's going to set his sights on Aaron Smith, but he's got a tall order ahead of him. 3.5 seconds the advantage now for Aaron Smith, your race leader, over the 3 of Brian McCann as we work lap 82 here from Kansas Speedway. Chris Wally in pit lane. Still some right front damage on his Impala SS. Jack goes onto the right side. It's going to be a 4-tire change. Yes, it is. General Tires and Sunoco Race Fuel. He's down and away. 15.6 seconds for Chris Wally as the race leaders come into the frame. Now Chris Mefford's going to hit pit lane. So another round of green flag stops here at Kansas Speedway. Mike McDonald heads down the pit road as well. 11.7 seconds for Mefford. Gotta think Mefford's trying to save his set. 14.62 for McDonald. Looks like that was 4 tires and fuel for the 16. So Aaron Smith continues to lead, and that gap is getting bigger and bigger. 3.9 seconds back now to Brian McCann. Aaron pit lap 62, Brian lap 64. Aaron Smith in fuel save mode as well. You hear that car coasting through the corners. Well, we talked about lift and coast as a strategy to save fuel. Let's ride on board with Aaron Smith and hear what it sounds like. Lift, clutch, coast. You can see it on the tack, the big gauge in the middle, drops almost to 0. Aaron Smith now 4.3 seconds the advantage. Right on board now with Brian McCann. Is he saving fuel too? Yeah, he's doing the same thing. Brian McCann, 4.6 seconds back. We look at the last laps. Aaron Smith was a 32.31, and that was in traffic. Brian McCann a 32.56 as Doug Wysocki hits pit road. I promise you guys, I'm not having audio problems. These guys are just on the clutch and coasting through the corners. That might be why you can't hear them all that well. Once that final pit stop is made, I don't think you'll hear any of that for a while. Aaron Smith across the line here now, over a 5-second advantage over Brian McCann. Stan Carnathan now up 18 positions in the 3rd spot. Strong run for the 82 so far. Chris Wally gonna go by on the outside. Wally 19th, 2 laps down. At the stripe, Aaron Smith crosses the line here, 30 laps to go. Still saving fuel for all it's worth. Five of Trevor Quick hits pit lane. That was right in front of the race leader. I don't know if Aaron had to take evasive action there or not, but I'm sure it was a bit of a surprise. Jason Niles just comes to pit road. Very well could be his last stop of the race. Curious how far they can fully go on a tank of fuel. That first caution kind of threw us for a loop. Right side's in the air on the 88 machine. Drops the jack, 4 tires in fuel for Jason Algis. He's down and away. Aaron Smith from the race lead. He's in the pits. Key pit stop for the number 70 machine. He's into the box. Last set of tires likely going on for Aaron Smith. Drops the jack, he's down and away. 15.15 seconds. Not the greatest stop you could have, but as fast as he is, he'll find a way to make it up. Brian McCann, same thing. Into the pit lane for his last stop of the evening. Drops the jack, 14.72 seconds for Brian McCann. 4 tires and fuel. He's down and away, back in the hunt. Now that's going to be the question. Does he have enough time to reel in Aaron Smith? That would eventually be the battle for the race win. Smith managed to get his pit stop done and get back out there and maintain the top spot. That in itself is extremely impressive. Aaron Smith leading Jeff No and the 16 of Mike McDonald for the time being. With those pit stops complete, we're going to take one more in our final HBR TV side-by-side break. We'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Kansas Speedway, 19 laps to go. We're going to take you all the way to the checkered flag. Aaron Smith out in front, commanding lead, 5.5 seconds over Brian McCann, and he gets the wall out of turn number 2. A very rare mistake out of Aaron Smith. Doesn't even lift. Still 5.2 seconds back to Brian McCann. Unbelievable. You know what it sounds like? Aaron Smith still saving fuel. Pit stops came lap 92, lap 93, 92, 90, 91. No, 89 for our top 5 drivers. 18 laps to go. Some guys not sure if they can make it all the way to the end. Brian McCann's got it down within 5 seconds, but still a ways to go and not a whole lot of laps to do it. 17 remaining. And the caution is out. Chris Wally in trouble.
Kind of talk me through what's going on again.
Caution on the speedway late here at Kansas Speedway. Chris Wally in trouble out of turn number 2. Let's get a look at it. Oh, he's going to hit the wall a ton here. Single car incident out of turn number 2, but Chris Wally just pounding that inside wall. No way to drive it back to pit lane. The caution on the speedway only for the second time today. This changes everything. So I guess the question remains, I don't think anybody that's really a contender right now. There's only 11 cars on the lead lap. I think everybody has made their 2 stops for tires. I guess the question is, does anybody peel off for a quick splash of fuel just in case? Aaron Smith drops it to the apron. He's going to come down pit road. Brian McCann stays out. Smith into the pit box. Again, fuel only going on board. That number is 70. Quick splash and go. Aaron Smith down and away. Certainly can go full bore all the way to the finish. And again, with only, I think it was 11 cars on the lead lap, it's not going to lose too many positions, but the question is going to remain, how many spots can he really pick up here in the closing laps? 120 laps, the race distance here. We're going to be 106 here in just a minute. Wave around cars going on by. So now your top 5, it's going to be Brian McCann, Kevin McCann, Stan Carnathan, Jeff No, Jason Nilgis. Jason's been strong all race. But you look at some of these guys in the top 5, like Stan Carnathan started 21st. Jeff No started 19th. Jason Nilgis started 15th. These guys have worked their way into the top 5, and once they've gotten to that point, kind of hung out there. They've had a pretty good success at staying in those positions, even throughout the pit stops and the long green flag runs. Strong afternoons for certainly 3 of the top 5, but then Brian and Kevin McCann started near the front, continue to stay near the front. Of course, those are our top 2 drivers, Brian and Kevin. Getting down to crunch time, getting ready to go back green flag racing. It's going to be the brothers McCann to take us to the green flag here. I think it's going to be the next time by. Should get the one to go at the stripe. Lights are out. Field formed up 2x2 down the back straightaway. Again, it's Brian and Kevin McCann going to take us to the green flag. Stan Carnathan, Jeff No, third and fourth, and Jason Nilgis in fifth. Mike Cook, sixth. Jaden Hopp, seventh. Garrett Johnston, eighth. Brandon Mefford, ninth. Aaron Smith's going to restart the 10th spot. His car pulls off.
Green flag, green flag, green flag.
12 laps to go from Kansas. We're green flag. Brian McCann with a great jump. 3.5 tenths already down into turns 1 and 2. Battle for the third spot. Jeff No and Stan Carnathan. Carnathan slides up in front of the 88. Now the 4, Jaden Hopp goes to the bottom. We got a big battle here for position. Aaron Smith, kind of the meat in the sandwich, nowhere to go. Still up 2 spots right off the drop of the green flag. 11 laps to go. Nile just in the middle there, the number 88 machine. Hopp in the bottom. Aaron Smith trying to just power through here. Aaron Smith now up the racetrack in front of Carnathan. Big wiggle! The 46 of Mefford. Oh, and he gets nailed. Big wreck, and brother Brandon gets him down the back straightaway. Caution is on the Speedway once again. Again, apologies here in the overlay. It says second caution. This is actually our third. The brothers Mefford in trouble out of turn 2 here late in the race. Let's get a look at it. From the blimp, big wiggle from Chris Mefford. And just nowhere to go for brother Brandon. Drives right in the back of him. Both drivers spin down to the inside of the track. So we'll do it again. Brian McCann, Kevin McCann going to lead us back to the green flag. This is only going to help the fuel economy here for these leaders up in front of the racetrack here, in front of the field. Aaron Smith might be second-guessing his decision to pit unless he was just that short on fuel. Again, he came down pit lane, I think it was lap 92, 1 lap sooner than Brian McCann. But with these 2 cautions coming out consecutively, it's certainly going to help everyone's fuel mileage. While we're under caution here, we're going to take a very short break. We'll be back after this.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified in Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
R&R Racewear, your source to all custom racewear apparel needs. and home to iRacing apparel. Check it out today at rnrracewear.com.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Checkered flag. Contact and Brian Rose wins it. A photo finish at the line. Oh, we got a wreck. Will Hewitt's through the trial for the final time, and oh, they're wrecking. Big trouble. Vincent Short sneaks through, and I think Short.
Back at Kansas Speedway, closing laps. 120 laps the race distance here. We should get the restart here, lap 114. Bit of a shootout to close things out. Jason Nile just having some connection issues there briefly. So is the 4 of Jaden Hopp. So once again, we get another restart here. Both McCanns on the front row. Aaron Smith going to restart in the 6th position. Remember, he came down pit lane at that last caution. Took fuel, put him back in the 10th spot. Quick restart, got up 4 positions. So it's McCann and McCann, your favorite law firm. Pace car peels off.
Green flag.
Green in the air. Brian McCann times it perfect. 6 laps to go. Down into turn number 1. No challenge for the race lead. Brian McCann with 4/10 of a second. Back to the 2nd place running Kevin McCann. Aaron Smith up into the 5th position, working the high side, trying to take the spot from Jaden Hopp. Big run on a turn number 4, right across the nose of Jason Nile, just barely missing contact. 5 to go. And the caution on the Speedway once again.
Really?
Don't know what's put this one out. Again, apologies. The overlay says 3rd caution of the evening. It's actually our 4th. Yellow flag on the Speedway. Once again, still not sure what has caused it. Possibly Rick Kelly. See, he's at the back of the pack here. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, there he is, off the nose of Neil Quick. Now, I'm not an expert, but let's watch that one again, because it didn't look like that was much of an accident unless it was just close racing for that position. Looks like Quick and Kelly are in a battle for that spot. So we're watching it slow down here. The 31 of Kelly drop into the apron. So is Neil Quick just behind, and they just make some contact. Of course, Neil gets into him there. They're not quite square. Kelly goes around. Excellent job for all the drivers to avoid making contact with the 31 after the fact. So Aaron Smith, he was able to get one more spot on that restart. Pretty sure this is going to send us into our first attempt at a green-white checkered finish. We will try this up to 3 times if necessary. Scary enough, I can't even count out Aaron Smith yet. I mean, he's up in the 5th spot. Through these last couple of restarts, he's gone up five positions. I know the closer you get to the front, the harder those passes are. Aaron Smith certainly not worried about fuel anymore. Be curious if the drivers ahead of him are. Again, Aaron came down a couple of cautions ago, topped off the fuel, make sure he had plenty to make it through the end. But now the question remains, even though we've had some cautions here, is everybody else in that top 4, do they have enough to make it one more green-white checkered? 2 more green-white checkers? And again, we said it before, you can go up to 3 in this series before they let it finish under yellow. But those top 4 guys, I don't know if they've got enough fuel to make it more than just this one restart. Again, the cautions that we've had certainly help that fuel economy. They might be okay to the finish, but we don't even necessarily know. They could stumble on the restart, and then we have a whole another problem. The whole field bearing down on the leaders. So we got lowered club. I'm just catching up on the stream chat. It says 3rd caution. It's actually our 4th. Again, having some overlay issues. We got Lindsay MW says, go Aaron, go Jaden. And then Lindsay MW, again, making a very valid point. Cautions breeding cautions. That is absolutely the truth. But it's also the end of the race. Everybody's trying to root and gouge for every single position because all that stuff matters. Every point makes a difference. We're seeing that here at Kansas Speedway. Getting ready to go back under the green flag. Formed up 2 by 2. My racing pace car lights are off, so we're on the 1 to go. Next time by, we'll catch the green flag, and it'll be a green, white, then checkered flag finish, provided we don't get another yellow before the white comes out. If the white does come out, that would be the final lap, no matter what happens. Don't go anywhere. We're going green. It could be over here, or we could line them back up and do it again. We'll see. It's going to be Brian McCann, Kevin McCann, the top 2. Then the 4, Jaden Hopp. Then Jeff No, Jason Nilgis, or Aaron Smith, depending on which nose is out in front. Aaron Smith down the bottom. This one's going to be fun. Pace car makes the hard left turn down pit lane. Now it is up to the McCann's brothers as the green flag comes out.
Green flag.
Another good jump for Brian McCann. He's off and away. 0.3 of a second into turn number 1 already. 2 laps to go. Kevin McCann on the back bumper. Jaden Hopp in 3rd, Jason Nilgis 4th. Well, he was. Now it's Aaron Smith up to P4. Big wiggle for the 70 out of turn number 2. Aaron Smith up into the 4th position. He's got to dispose of the 4. Goes to the outside, hanging that right rear out into the wind. Last lap, white flag in the air for Brian McCann. He's just got to make one more circuit here. He's got 0.4 of a second back on his brother. Now the battle for the second position. Jaden Hopp looking to the outside of Kevin McCann. Into the fence just barely. Aaron Smith, oh, we got somebody way off the racetrack. Who was that? Don't even know. Managed to gather it back up. Brian McCann now into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Checkered flag waving for Brian McCann. He wins at Kansas. Kevin McCann finishes second. Aaron Smith charges back for a top 3 finish. Jaden Hopp, Chris Mefford rounding out the top 5. Mefford battling back after his late race crash with his brother. What a finish. Does he got enough to do the burnouts? He does. Brian McCann doing his best, Kevin Harvick. It's Brian's first win on the season. Brother Kevin got it last week. Brian gets it this week. Who needs sheet metal? I think Brian blew it up. That's all she wrote for the 3. Doesn't matter, doesn't need it anymore. We're going to take a break here. We're back with our top 3 finishers. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Sgarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
your source to all custom racewear apparel needs, and home to iRacing apparel. Check it out today at rnrracewear.com.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Back at Kansas Speedway, race number 6, the IROC Challenge Series. It's in the books. Brian McCann, his first win on the season, and we're going to talk to him. We'll pull him up here into the broadcast booth. Brian, it's Steve with HBR TV, IROC TV. You got a copy?
I do. How's it going?
It's going well, sir. Congratulations, man. I hate to say this. I hate to even admit it, but there was a point mid-race. I was like, there's no way Brian's got a shot. And, well, lo and behold, you battle back. You take that last set of tires. Late cautions in this race. You had to hold off for the restarts, and you managed to bring home a checkered flag for your first win on the season. What was the strategy coming into tonight? What changed there in the last, 20 laps or so? Did you make any decisions late that changed the outcome of this race that you ended up with the checkered flag in the last?
I definitely agree with you. I didn't think I had much chance either. Aaron built that gap a little earlier, and I was trying to fuel save a little bit more than he did, but the gap was going to be the winning factor if it just kept going green there. Early on, one thing that threw us off was the stage didn't end at 30. It ended at about 27. So that made it to where we had to save big fuel throughout the entire race, whereas before we didn't really have to save that much. So that was my strategy, was to save as much as I could to make the last 2 stints wide open. But that just gave Aaron too much of a gap, and he managed it perfectly. But there at the end, I'm not really sure. He pitted, and I had enough fuel to make it. I think he may have been banking on some green-white checkers, and I was liking that P1 position, so I went ahead and took a gamble, and luckily we had some extra caution flags there, allowed me to save even more. I could probably only do 1 green-white checker. I don't think I can do another one, but luckily it turned out in my favor.
Well, that's kind of what we were worried about there with the green-white checkers. If they continued to happen, I think a lot of guys would have had to peel down pit lane, and Aaron Smith would have been in great shape. It just didn't come to fruition. I think my guess is Aaron's mindset was, this race has been so clean, we can't have more cautions. There's no way, so we had to pit. But it is what it is. You had great pace out there. Again, you started 4th. You finished this race with the race win, of course. Next week, we roll into Kentucky Speedway. Certainly a different style racetrack. How do you feel about your chances out there? If you finish this race,
not a lot of experience at Kentucky, and I'm not the greatest at this car, so maybe top 5. Hoping for a top 5. Let's go with that.
Not the greatest in this car, as he says it from victory lane. All right.
5. We'll talk to Aaron, Mr. 4 or 5 times. He's out here showing us how to do it, so I'm learning off of him.
Well, fair enough, Brian. Again, congratulations. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
You're showing us how to do it. My wife and family, you for doing the broadcast, the league admins for putting this show on, and big shout out to our sponsor, Spartan Transportation, for helping us put this show on.
All right, Brian. Well, thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week.
Thank you.
It's Brian McCann, your race winner here at Kansas Speedway. Next, we're going to talk to brother Kevin. Pull him up in the broadcast booth, get a word with our runner-up, driver the number 33 machine, Kevin McCann. It's Steve in the booth. You got us? He's working on the mute button. Kevin McCann, Steve with HBR TV. You with us?
Yeah, you got me?
There we go. Kevin, congratulations, man. A second place finish, started P3, so I guess anytime you finish higher than you qualify, I guess it's a good day. You had real good pace early on, and as I said to Brian as well, mid-pack of this race, midpoint of this race, I was like, these guys don't have a shot. And then all of a sudden, comes down to the end, and you and Brian McCann both up towards the front. Walk us through your strategy, your mindset coming into tonight, and how things change with all those cautions and restarts there at the end of the race.
Yeah, tonight was a big field strategy night, so that's probably why you saw us shuffling back there toward the back of the field. We knew it was going to come down to there was a number we had to get to so that we could cut it into 2 stops there at the end. So it was just trying to keep the fuel consumption where it needed to be tonight. Tires weren't too big of an issue because we were fuel saving so much. So everything just kind of worked out. We were where we needed to be there at the end. The yellows at the end kind of shook things up, though, especially for Aaron. Kind of ruined his strategy there. But, I don't think I had the raw speed to beat Brian tonight. He was just quicker there, running the bottom lane. I actually did all my practicing on the top lane, but it never really came in tonight. So, it's just one of those things. I'll take the spot.
Well, he certainly looks strong out there. Of course, next week, Kentucky Speedway is next up on the schedule. Do you have any experience out of Kentucky? More so, do you have experience in this car at Kentucky?
No, this is the car is all new to me this season. So I do have experience on Kentucky and the other oval classes, but we'll see how well it translates. Probably another mile and a half, so we can expect another fuel strategy night. Seems like that's the the routine here lately, but we'll give it our best.
I know it can kind of be frustrating for drivers having to work the strategy, not just going out there and putting your foot to the wood and just going after it, but man, it makes for some great racing, at least here in the broadcast. So I know I appreciate it. I don't know how you feel about it, but it's been fun to watch so far.
Oh yeah, it was interesting. I was telling Brian, especially in the first stage there, it's like we're racing guys, but we're hitting the clutch halfway down the straight. It's like, who can hit it last,
Well, it's funny because we saw a lot of guys, of course, saving fuel, and I think I even picked it up in the first 5 or 6 laps of the race. Guys were hitting the clutch and just coasting into the corner, but somehow, at least some of the guys that are really good at it, managed to put up some pretty good lap times, even considering that fact. So there's the science behind it, and it worked out, but still worked out better for yourself and Brian McCann. So congratulations, Kevin. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you get going?
Yeah, just shout out to the sponsors that put on the lead, Spartan Logistics, R&R Raceway, all those guys, Chris Walling crew. They do a fantastic job, and thank you for the broadcast.
All right, Kevin, thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week.
Yep, see you.
Kevin McCann, your runner-up here at Kansas. Next, we're going to pull what I would assume is going to be a relatively disappointed Aaron Smith into the broadcast booth. Let's get a word with the driver of the number 70, Aaron Smith. It's Steve in the HBR TV, IROC TV booth. You got us?
Yeah, I've got you.
Aaron, congratulations, man. I know it was probably not the finish that you wanted to get. You had to make a decision there on that first late caution, stay out or hit pit lane. I got to ask, what was the mindset? What was the decision-making process to come down and take fuel?
Yeah, I wasn't too sure if we'd get another wreck, but I wanted to be ready in case we got a green-white checkered the way we did. But, we had a couple extra cautions there in between when I pit and then the point where we got the green-white checkered, so I probably would have been able to save enough fuel to make it. I was about 2 laps to the good on that last run before the caution that threw a wrench and everything, but I figured it'd be better safe than sorry. I was able to pick up the pieces pretty well, though, so I'll certainly take it.
So racing is always full of the what-ifs, the coulda, shoulda, wouldas. But let's go back and let's kind of play that part for a minute. You come down, you hit pit lane, you take fuel late in the race, we get the restart. Say we don't have a couple of more cautions. Did you have enough time to reel in and eventually pass those McCanns and take this win?
Not really. I mean, on the short runs, they were firing off a lot better than I was, and even if I was ahead of them, if I hadn't gone in and pit, it would have been difficult to keep them behind me. I'm not sure how much of a difference there was in the tires since I pit those extra 2 laps earlier, but I didn't have enough time to get them warmed up enough to make a difference.
Well, you've got 4 wins on the season, so you certainly have some gambling money to play with. So I'm actually kind of surprised to see you take the safer route. You still bring it home in a 3rd place finish. So the job well done as far as that's concerned. Next week, we roll into Kentucky Speedway. Another mile and a half, going to be some more fuel strategy, but certainly a different style racetrack. How do you feel about your chances out there next week?
Well, I ran pretty well there last season, so I'll probably be one of the guys to beat again. But as long as nothing flies into it like a hardware issue or another late race caution, I should be a pretty solid shot at it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, so are we. We are certainly looking forward to it. So far, all the races this season have been great to watch. And even though you've got 4 wins, you've got competition out there, so that hasn't been easy. It's been a bonus. It's been a plus, and we look forward to all the races throughout this season. Aaron, who do you want to thank before we let you go?
As always, I'd like to thank all the folks at the IROC Challenge Series for putting this show on, all the folks in the field for putting on a solid race every week we've had so far. I mean, tonight was an anomaly with the extra set of cautions at the end, but up until now, it's been a great season. Hopefully, we'll be able to continue that route down the rest of the order. And I'd like to thank you for broadcasting, all the folks for watching. Looking forward to getting back at it at Kentucky.
All right, Aaron. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week.
All right, thank you.
It's Aaron Smith, your third-place finisher, pole winner. Can't convert it to the race win here this week, but he's going to give it a go again next week out at Kentucky. With that, let's take a look at our race results. Of course, we talked to our top 3, Brian McCann, Kevin McCann, Aaron Smith. 4th place was Jaden Hopp in the 4. Chris Mefford was 5th. Jeff No finishes 6th. Mike Cook in the 7th spot. Garrett Johnston was 8th. Trevor Quick finishes in the 9th position. 10th went to Adam Johnson. Brandon Mefford was 11th. Mike McDonald 12th. Jason Nile just 13th. Stan Carnathan was 14th. John Osborne 15th. Neil Quick was P16. 17th finisher was Matt Kopp. Rick Kelly finishes in the 18th position. 19th place finisher, that went to Doug Wysocki. 20th was Larry Bruner. Tough break for Larry out of this one. Just a couple of laps early, finishes 20th, 2 laps down. He was fast early on. Chris Wally was 21st. Out of this one here with a big wreck on the backstretch. Josh Braley, 65 laps down, finishes in the 22nd spot. Got to thank you guys all for tuning in here tonight on both channels. We broadcast to HBR TV as well as IROC TV. Again, it's HBR TV, IROC TV, kind of a multicast. We do appreciate all you guys being here to watch it, whether it's here or there. Either one is good. If you haven't already checked out our channel, please do. YouTube.com/@HBR TV and the number 1. We got to update that graphic there on the bottom. If you can't find us there, HBRTV1.com. We've got a live channel in there. We've been a little lax on trying to get some of that stuff updated as of late, but in the future, that's kind of a go-to last resort. Hey, I can't find it on YouTube. Well, just go to HBRTV1.com, click the live channel, and that should have the day's live stream broadcast link up and running, ready to go for all you guys to view. With that said, that's going to wrap it up for us here at HBR TV from Kansas Speedway, the IROC Challenge Series, race number 6. Congratulations to Brian McCann. We'll see you guys next week at Kentucky. Thanks for watching.